guys, and welcome back to Shine Like a Diamond, and I'm back here with Alan again to learn more about how to manage our mental well-being. Because as we know, you that is watching, me, everyone out there, sometimes we do need a bit of a helping hand to get from point A to point B. Even just this morning, setting up what I was setting up, I was finding myself talking that. So sometimes you can be a bit overwhelmed by everything. So you need somebody who can think outside the box and just help you put everything together so that you can be able to grow within what you're doing. So back again with Alan, and as you remember, Alan did mention they have a training session in July. So please guys, if you can make it, the offices are quite central. We will put it down on the video so you know where it's going to be, easily accessible for everybody, because what Alan is doing and Jim, they're being very inclusive. So everyone who can manage to join them, please do. And for any of you who's wondering about if you have maybe mobility issues and whatever, I'm sure Alan will be able to give us more information so you know it is all for you. You watching me, everyone is welcome. So Alan, in a position where somebody feels, how do they find you if they are not able to make it, say, to the office and all that? What would you advise?
So I think there's kind of two things there. So the premises that we have our training in is always accessible.
Yeah.
That's that's just a foregone conclusion. People have got to be able to get there, regardless of any mobility issues that they have.
Yeah.
So that's a standard for us. I think the thing that's different is that when we were kind of thinking about our approach to this, we wanted it to be personal, face-to-face.
Yeah.
And so that is the kind of our starting point. But we realise that's not for everybody.
Yeah.
We realise that sometimes actually coming out the house could be a wee bit difficult.
Yes.
Putting on your face, getting yourself dressed, doing your hair, whatever that is, for men and women, is a difficult thing.
Very true.
So if people were needing support remotely, we would be quite happy to give support, one-to-one support on the telephone. We're quite happy to give one-to-one support on on something like Teams or Zoom as well.
Yeah.
So we don't want to be restrictive in the kind of support that we give like that. For now, the training will be face-to-face. In the future, it would be nice to think that we could offer an online training, but we need to see how we develop that, because, as I said, it's quite interactive. The training that we do, we don't just teach and you sit there for an hour and a half.
Correct.
It's interactive. There'll be tasks to do. There'll be group tasks to do. There'll be kind of help and self-discovery. And it's how you create that same thing online.
Yes.
Rather than face-to-face. But when it comes to the individual support that you're able to access through Remind, that would be down to what the person would best want. If it's telephone, it could be telephone. If it's Teams, it's Teams. If it's face-to-face, it's face-to-face. So it's, again, we talked about a collaborative approach in the first episode. So that's exactly what we want to do with individual support as well.
So that question should not arise in your mind, because, as we said, it's about mental wellness. So whatever suits you, please get in touch. If you need any assistance, whatever way, then Alan and Jim can advise which way forward, and you can come up with a bit of a working strategy that works for you and works for them. So if I may go back to your mission for you and your brother, there must have something personal that drove you into achieving this goal.
I think so. I previously worked for the NHS, and part of the services that I managed was staff wellbeing, and also a listening service and GP surgeries. So over that experience of working in a healthcare setting, life happens to people every day, and all of us are affected by our mental well-being. All of us are affected about how we deal and cope with stress and anxiety, or the stuff that life brings us. Death, bereavement, moving house, children, relationships. All of this is part of everyday life. And when somebody breaks their leg, it's visible.
Yes.
You could see what's happened.
Yeah.
You could see the cast that's then put on it to make it better.
Mm-hmm.
And you know within so many weeks it's going to get better.
Yes.
And with a bit of physio,
Yeah.
you'll get back to normal. So all of that is quite straightforward and it's visible.
Yeah.
The mental health is invisible and is not often seen, but it still needs the same care and attention.
Yes.
And it still needs the same support.
Yeah.
So it's just like, what is your, something happens in your life and your mental health is affected, then how do you change that? What treatment do you need? And what recovery time do you need after that? So it's helping educate people around that mental health shouldn't be a stigma.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be something that is hidden. It should be something that's open, that's openly talked about. And it happens to everybody. So I know for me in my life, I have been challenged with that and had to take time off work because my mental well-being was affected because of life events that happened around me. And I needed time to recover and I needed to speak to somebody about that. It happens to everybody. It's not just something that happens to a certain section of the population that makes it a stigma.
Yeah.
It happens to everybody. So that's been a big kind of driving force for myself around this.
Yeah.
And also for Jim as well. And both of us having worked in industry and in healthcare, you see practices that are very good at times. You see the best of the world.
Yeah.
And you also see practice that is not the best of the world either. So, and big businesses sometimes have easy access to being able to make sure their employees have easy access to health care facilities and private health care, and that comes as an employee benefit in a lot of places. But if you're a small business or a sole trader or a medium business, how do you do that? So we want to make that kind of same approach accessible in mental well-being for smaller, medium companies and members of the public. So as I say, members of the public can sign up for our courses as well, because it is all about betterment of mental health as we go along. So I say for both of us, it's a passion. We've been affected as individuals, we've had family members who have been affected, and actually we just want to make it a better place. And if we feel we've got something different to bring to the table, which we do, we want to bring that along and give people the opportunity.
I agree. And you know what? I think there is that lacking in the society at the moment. There's so many things happening and people shy off from showing they're being a bit vulnerable, they're a bit overwhelmed, they're being overworked, and that's why you're finding there's a lot of some people who cannot cope, they're taking their own lives, which is unnecessary. And a majority of them, actually, I'm finding, is the young generation. I think there's so much pressure within the young generation and you don't know where to go. So when you have people like you coming and literally helping people to see there's always a light at the end of the tunnel.
I think it's very true what you say about young people, and especially with the effects of COVID. And I don't think we've seen the full picture of that yet.
No.
Because if you were at school in your later years during COVID or early university during COVID, your whole socialisation about how you've been involved with people changes. And young kids as well, even coming into the system, they haven't had the same kind of start to school life as other people have around us. So I think we've still to see a lot of what's happened in there as well. And again, you're right what you say about, it happens to everybody. And in British culture, people talk about the stiff upper lip, and everybody who is listening to this will have heard phrases like, oh, you've just got to get on with it. You've just got to push through. Pull yourself together, get a grip. All these phrases people use. And actually that puts people who are suffering and struggling on the back foot because they think, oh my God, I've got to get this all together. I've got to know what I'm doing. I can't ask for help because, then I'm letting people down or whatever that is. But, so all that's really important in terms of how we help people look after their own mental well-being.
And you know one thing I'm loving about what they're doing? We both agree. You're watching me right now, and you know very sure if you come to social media, because you're finding a lot of people trying to come to social media and actually seeking help, trying to talk to people, this is what I'm feeling. And there's so much pressure and judgment out there. But when you have one-on-one, you don't feel judged. So however you feel, you cannot share, because people are so different. I'm so easy to just open my mouth and talk. Like I just go blah, 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 blah. I need someone to hear me. But let's be honest, that is about 20% of people. A lot of people cannot suppress what they're feeling.
Yeah.
So they hide within, and then it's eating them more. So you don't have to go to social media. You don't have to work in an institution if you're feeling overwhelmed. That's where they bring a bit of difference, because if you feel you just need that one-on-one, here we are. And it's amazing what you're doing. And I love exactly what you're doing. You're going to help so many people that are stuck out there and they don't feel like they can openly talk to someone or even walk in the building, as you said.
Yeah.
So guys, if you want to get in touch, please get in touch. Even if it's via email.
Yep.
You're going to give us your email?
So you can contact us by email or looking up our website.
Yeah.
And that's probably the easiest way to contact us. And as I said, so primarily our business is about supporting businesses.
Yes.
So that's primarily what we're about. But we do recognise that individuals come forward and needing support as well. So we're not exclusive. And sometimes the role that we play is maybe not having the answer ourselves, but being able to point people in the right direction of an organisation that would be able to help them.
It's vital.
Because that, as I say, sometimes that sharing of advice about what you know and what's out there does make a difference as well. So, as I said, if we don't know the answer, we are not going to say, we can't help you. We're going to try and point you in the right direction of somebody who might be able to help you as well. So, as I say, so primarily our business is about supporting businesses, but we recognise that the courses that we are running are good for individuals as well. So anybody can come along and be part of them. And the individual support that we give, as I said, primarily, again, that's through businesses. But if an individual was to come and say, I'm needing a bit of support, I don't know what to do, we would try our best to point them in the right direction of what they're looking for.
Excellent. If you are a manager out there, a director, or whatever you are, do not hesitate to come and contact them. Don't take it out on your employees. We all see you when you walk in and you're overwhelmed and you're thinking, God, you cannot get anything happening. You need maybe someone to come out and help you manage yourself better, and especially up here. Because once we look after that is food for soul. You'll be able to cope with anything. That,
again, is a really interesting comment. So some of the companies that we've given advice to, they've came to us and said, we're looking for support for our staff. And we went to speak to the managers and speak to them and find out about their business. But our advice sometimes is, well, actually, it's the managers that are needing support, because sometimes, again, in a small business, the manager will be the HR person, the finance person, the manager, and the salesperson. They wear multiple hats. So being able to support their employees is difficult, because they've got to juggle everything else. So giving them a bit of support initially helps actually them see their employees in the workplace different, because actually they're the ones that are at the coalface, and they're the ones that are stressed by it. So that's why it's important to have a conversation with us, and we don't do one size fits all, because we want to find out actually what is going on for you as an individual, and what's going on for your company, and then we're in a position to help once we've had that conversation.
You are talking about me. I juggle everything. So that's why I go to them when I need help. So please, please, please get in touch. Let them come to you and help you. We all need that little helping hand. And I think you are doing amazing, amazing work. It's really, really needed, because mental well-being is the engine of everything. It's like your vehicle, isn't it? If you don't keep looking after your oils and whatever, the car won't work.
Absolutely. So the whole idea of your car going in for a service is to make sure that your car can still run properly, and there's nothing hiding in the background that's going to be a long-term problem for your car.
Yeah.
So that I know that me and Jim both, we both go and speak to people about how we're getting on at work, because you kind of hide from this.
No.
And we've got to practice what we preach.
Yeah.
You know, if we're saying actually it's good to talk to somebody about how your work's affecting you, well, we do exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
We go and talk to somebody that we trust about how our work is affecting us.
Yeah.
Do you know, it's common sense to me.
Guys, please get in touch. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you've gotten a bit of information. We will get Alan and Jim back online again as we keep moving forward, and they can tell us what they're doing next. Because, of course, we really need this help, and it's something that is so easily needed by everyone. Everyone resonates with a bit of issues here and there. So get in touch. Get in touch. They are waiting for you. Thank you very much for joining us, and we shall be seeing you again soon. Have a lovely day and take care. Thank you, Alan.
Thank you.